Hey guys, Dave from Wolfhard Hobbying here, and today we're going to continue painting the Forgeworld Avatar. So in the last video, as you can see, we did the base coat and priming of the model. I really like how the blue turned out. It's fairly dark, but not too dark, so that it gets lost in the darker recesses. So we're going to get started with our next blue, which is going to be a 1-to-1 mixture of medium blue, which was used for the base color, and Vallejo's deep sky blue. You could probably go to a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 and slowly work up from there, but I kind of just want to get the model done and get farther along, so I decided to go for a 1-to-1 mixture. So I got the paint all loaded up in the airbrush there. And I'm just going to bring in the camera so that you can get a closer view of the model. So just like in the previous video, we're going to work this color into the cracks and crevices of the body here, just to give it that glow effect or power effect. I don't know what you would call it. But I'm going to focus more on the center of the body, as that's where I want this power source to look like it's coming from. So again, I'm at a 20 psi, and I'm just going to work this color into those cracks and along the edges, so that when I paint over top those like muscle tones or the rock or whatever it is, that it won't mute out the color in the cracks. So I'm only going about halfway down the thigh, as that's about as far as I want this color to go, as I want it to look like the power slowly trailing off. I'm going to do kind of the same idea with the arms, but his arms are a little short because he's got a big bracer on, so you really don't see a lot of the arm. But I go about halfway on the arm. So just working the color into the cracks. Again, when you are working at a low PSI, you want to have your paint fairly thin so that it's a little bit controllable. And I apologize for having my hand in that shot there for a while, and even in this one. When you're working close to the model, it's hard to record clearly. So again, just going about halfway down the leg, and working it up into the middle. I find with a lot of these gradients, you'll want to start from where it's going to trail off. That way you can slowly release the paint, and then work your way up into the middle of the body. All depends on what you're comfortable with. I know most times it's a lot of people are comfortable working from the middle and then slowly trailing off, but that's it for this blue pretty much. As you can see, I kind of went about right to the elbow with this color on the arm there, and up into the rib cage. I'm going to do along the back as well, even inside that armpit. But just jumping over here to another part of the model, we're going to use this same blue mixture, the 1-to-1 mixture, to do the base coat for his hands. I want it to look like there's a lot of power in his hands, so that's why I didn't start with the darker blue, as I want it to look like his hands and his fingers are where a lot of the power is as well. So just like with any base coat, just going to lightly build up our color. You don't want to shoot a lot of color out at one time, as it will glob and run and make the model look just not look nice at all. So you want to use thin layers and build it up. You can even just release air from the airbrush to help dry it, as long as you don't release too much air, because it could push the paint around. So little tips and tricks like that for when you are airbrushing. You want to play around with some test models before jumping into something like this big. Even I'm not that good of an airbrusher, but I've been doing tanks and stuff like that, so I decided to jump onto a bigger model here. So that's the base color. I'm probably going to come in with a second coat of this blue, just let that dry. Also have to do the sword hand as well. So this is the base of that one-to-one mixture, how it looks on the model. As you can see, I did his sword hand, as well as I did the another coat on the other hand. So now we're going to come in with a 3-to-1 mixture of straight white. This is my Reaper white and the deep sky blue. Again, you could build up this color, but for tabletop purposes, I'm just jumping straight into this 3-to-1 mixture. I want a very light blue, more white with a blue tint to it. So as you can see here, it's loaded up in the airbrush, and just going to start working in the complete center of the body. I'm going to try and avoid the thighs as much as possible, but I will trail a little bit in there just to give that gradient effect. So again, working at a low PSI, 20. Oh, actually, no, I think I dropped down to about a 14 PSI to do this one. And again, I'm focusing just on the middle of the body. More kind of the ab section and his chest and the middle of his back, more than going down into the legs too much. But again, take this color as far as you want. If you were doing a better transition, like doing a 2-to-1 white to blue or whatever, you could start lower and working way up. But with this color, I'm just focusing straight in the middle. So as you can see, I've gone around and I've done almost the whole model here with this color, and turned out really nice. I did the face, as you can see, most of the arm there. I didn't go too far down past his abs, as again I wanted to leave that looking like it's starting to trail off a bit. But I kind of like this effect. I also did his hands with this color as well, but and his other one here. But I kind of like this effect more than what I was going to go for with painting over the muscle tones in a black. So I'm kind of debating on whether just to keep him like this or to actually paint the stones. I want you guys to leave a comment in the comment section below on what you think. Should I keep it like this, or should I paint the stones? The kind of theme of my army is they're very soul ghost oriented, so there's a lot of wraith guards, wraith constructs and things like that in my army as well. So I kind of like this ghostly effect on the avatar model here. So again, just leave a comment what you think I should do. Should I leave it like this? I think I'm probably gonna go with this effect and then paint up all the armor and stuff as well, but let me know what you think, okay guys? So now we want to give this a little bit more of a power effect. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come in with some straight white, and we're just going to pick out certain parts on the model with the white to show kind of a power focal point or nexus or whatever. So grabbing my Reaper white, and some Lame medium just to allow it to flow into the cracks a lot easier, and give me a little bit more control with the white. And we're going to use a very small detail brush. It's one of the smallest brushes I have, and we're just going to focus on where we want the power. So I'm going to go kind of the middle of this chest here, in some of those cracks, and not worrying too much about getting it on the sides, as you know, if I decide to go with the rock look, then I'll just be painting over that anyways, or even if I decide to keep just the blue look, it kind of adds a little bit more of a glow effect to those pieces. So it's not too bothersome, and I could touch it up if I wanted to as well. So just working it into the cracks here, and making sure that I'm not too sloppy with it, so that if I decide to keep the blue, I don't have a lot of cleanup to do. So just working it a little bit farther down than I originally planned, just to give it a little bit more of a power look. I could probably do more of the cracks around the chest, maybe even inside the rib cage, but I think I'm just going to leave it kind of like that, like that's where it starts and then it's coming out. As well as I'm going to do the eyes and the inside of his mouth, just to show like there's power or soul behind there. It's just kind of a cool effect to go for, instead of a dark mouth, a white mouth. Because often when you see these models painted, they usually have the white mouth to show like the inner molten core of the avatar. But again, I'm going with a different route. So I am going to paint up the other eye there and maybe do a little bit more work on his mouth. But to do his hands, as you can see where the muscle tone is, he's got this kind of Y shape. So I'm going to just do the center of his palm in between those cracks, just to show like that's where a little bit more power is emanating from. So in this part, you want to be very careful, because if I'm not going to go with the rock look, then I'm not painting, sorry, if I am going to go for the rock look, I'm not painting his hands up with the rock color either. I'm going to leave it just the blue. So I need to be very careful here. But that's it. That's all I'm doing on that hand, is just the palm. I'm probably going to do maybe some dry brushing of the white on the fingertips or the knuckles, or I may just leave it like that, as it looks pretty cool so far. I'm really enjoying going against a lot of the color schemes for the Avatar model. His sword hand, there's not a lot to do with this color. Again, just kind of in the palm here. Sorry, it's off camera. But just essentially it's just one straight line in the middle of his palm. And again, I may do some dry brushing depending on which look I decide to go for. But again, guys, leave your comments on whether you think this looks cool or if I should go with a rock look. But that's pretty much about it for this model. I want to thank you guys for watching the video and continuing your support by subscribing to the channel. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and the like button if you like the video. Leave your comments in the comment section below. There will be a link to my Patreon and Facebook accounts in the description below as well, if you want to shoot me a message over there on Facebook or show some support through Patreon. That'd be awesome. Again, guys, I want to thank you for watching the video and have yourselves a great day.